Good.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another hour here on the Film Guy Network. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, reviewing. A lot of people in here watching tonight. We appreciate you for being here. No better place to talk college football than this spot right here. If you have not already, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 22,000. I think we're pretty close. It would be pretty awesome if we could hit that sometime soon. It's been kind of a slow climb and a slow build. We're hitting about 1,000 new subscribers every 2 weeks during the season.
Yeah.
It's not been that this offseason. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And for sure, make sure you're subscribing tonight if you are not already. What is a collective? I think a lot of people have just assumed that this is like some big bank account that a bunch of people just put money into, and it just keeps kind of building. And it's like this reserve of money to end up paying your roster. Kinda. It's not really what it is. What it really is, after conversations I've had with people in the last couple of weeks, is basically a super PAC. You know how like when you run a campaign, say you're running for governor, you get all this endorsement money, you get all this money in, you get all this lobbying money in, right? And then you spend it over your length of your campaign. That's basically what a collective is nowadays, except for the super PAC gets spent every month. Right? You say, like used to in the old days when pay for play was the bag man, here's how this operation worked, right? You would contact your boosters, your big money boosters, your guys that have just shitloads of cash just laying around, right? You would contact these people and you would put together like almost like a hidden bank account, and you would get all this assets and you would store it, and you would have it for a rainy day. It would almost be like a rainy day fund. And what that rainy day would be is, hey, man, we're getting some pushback from school X on 5-star Y. Okay, it might take some down payment. It might take some cash. It might take a bag drop. So you would have this money saved, and you would take a portion of it, you'd put it into a bag, and then you go drop it off at player X, right? Boom, right there, wham. And you'd really only do that for like, I don't know, not your whole roster, right? Not your whole roster. It would really only be players that needed that type of inducement or encouragement to come to your roster. Bags were really saved for high-end 5 stars, guys that you couldn't afford to lose, things like that. That's how it used to work, right? So there would be this kind of like, savings account, if you will, this rainy day fund for college football recruiting. Nowadays, it ain't like that. Nowadays, it is a monthly recruiting budget that has to be recuperated every single month. Because nowadays, it is not, hey, we got a couple 5 stars on our roster that we put down payments on years back, and now we're receiving those return on investments, and we got to go make new down payments on the next round of players. That's not what this is. Nowadays, this is, hey, we have a roster salary of X amount of dollars. We have to raise that every single month, pay it out, and then worry about how to raise it the next month to get this money back out to these players. All right, this is a monthly super PAC that has to get the funds raised for it, and then it's immediately spent, and then it has to immediately get raised back again. Sure, occasionally there are boosters that give one big lump sum payment, and they're like, boom, here is my donation for the year, thanks. That donation is then spread out across the calendar year in order to make sure they can get all of their payments made. That's how this is working nowadays, right? Which means Ryan Day wasn't bullshitting you when he came out 2 years ago and said it's going to cost him $13 million a year to maintain his top 3 roster. I'm here to tell you that number has slightly escalated. If you told me, let's just put a number on it, it costs $15 million a year to get a top 3 roster and maintain and pay a top 3 roster in today's world of college football, I would not put it past it. Okay. So what does that mean? That means you got to come up with about $1.2 million a month. That's what you got to come up with. So you have to be constantly campaigning for more money and more money and more money and more money. So you know what you got right about now? You got some extreme donor fatigue in college football. That's what you got. You got old money boosters that are constantly being berated monthly for income. Hey, we need to do this. We got to get back up to our monthly stipend so we can put it all out to our roster, right? Our roster value has been about $1 million a month across the board for top 3 to top 5 rosters in this sport. And by the way, you at the University of Georgia, no shocker, you got one of those rosters. Now, granted, you got a Power G on your chest, and you got 2 national titles, and you got 27 draft picks in the last 2 cycles. So yes, there is a bargain discount when you come to the University of Georgia. Everybody knows that. But it's slowly, that gap and willingness to take pay cuts when the rest of the sport is going nuts right now, it ain't working like that. It ain't happening like that. So every spring, when poaching time comes around, guess what? Money gets really tight, like it is right now at Georgia. It is no secret. If you do any reading around the Georgia space right now, you will come to find out that money seems kind of tight. Guess what? From conversations that I had, money's tight across the entire sport right now because there is extreme donor fatigue. Apart from 2 places, there are billionaires that really, really care about football. Oregon, Miami. The Ruiz cat down there who is under federal investigation right now for all of his, Digicoin, all of his Bitcoin, all of his fake money, NFT shit. That guy has an endless budget and he cares about football. And then there's that Phil Knight guy out at Oregon, where if they come up to Phil Knight and they say, Phil, we're $500,000 short this month on payroll. Okay. Nah, whatever. Yeah. Like at Oregon, you can do that. At Georgia, if they come up short on payroll, you know what they have to do? They have to make hundreds of phone calls, hundreds and hundreds of phone calls, okay, in order to get the whatever money that they're short on. They can't just call one big booster and say, hey, I need $100,000. They're not going to get it. Okay, so they have to call around. By the way, this is like this everywhere else. All right, there is one school that is out here doing it way better than everybody else. Any guesses?
Texas A&M?
Wrong. Texas A&M oil money.
I was going to guess Texas with the oil money.
Texas, couple billionaires, they give it to the whole sport. Right? They give it to everybody. They give it to school, and it gets dispersed down to the football team. There is one school that is doing this collective business way better than everybody else, and it's the Tennessee Volunteers. Everybody does the, Tennessee, whatever. Tennessee's doing it right now. Tennessee is doing it better than everybody else. Tennessee is doing this from a mass marketing, multi-level marketing strategy through a collective called Spire Sports. Everybody points to Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns. He puts a lot of money into Tennessee, the University of Tennessee. He does not, and he is not allowed to specifically give money to the football program, okay, because he owns an NFL organization. However, if you told me that he was bankrolling Spire Sports, I wouldn't put it past him. Okay, so here's how this works. Spire Sports is a tremendous marketing agency, but they are attacking this super PAC way better than everybody else. They are approaching the boosters. They are approaching the common fan. They have marketing strategies inside stadium events for fans to donate during their fan experience. They are spending money on the marketing up front to where Tennessee fans know about Spire Sports. Tennessee fans know how to get in contact with the donation department at Spire Collection. Tennessee fans are well aware that if I put my money into Spire Sports, it will come out via football, dividends, right? We will see a return on our investment on the football field. Okay, they are doing it, and they are really the only absolutely elite football program right now that is running a collective at this mass operation that they are, because Spire Sports has a different operating budget than most of these collectives. Most of these collectives are working as a money in, money out operation. They got 1 or 2 people, 1 or 3, 4 or 5 people working on the actual, operation things. But there's really like one face and one decision maker, right? In fact, if you search most of these, you will find the person really, really quickly. Everyone knows Georgia's. It's Matt Hibbs, right? Everybody knows who he is. But I don't know if the everyday common fan at the University of Georgia is aware of Classic City Collective, right? You guys got dads that are Georgia fans, I presume.
Yep.
If you said, hey, what do you know about the Classic City Collective? What would your dad say to you?
I mean, he would just he understands what it is, and like, oh, I can donate money to them if I want to. Like, I can give them money to help support sports at UGA. That's it, probably.
I'm not sure how much he knows about it.
Probably very little.
Yeah, probably not a lot.
But you went to Knoxville with me this year.
Yeah.
As an outside observer, it is impossible to walk in there and not know what Spire Sports is.
For real. I mean, the pregame, it felt like every other commercial was either brought to you by or it was a Spire Sports commercial.
Yeah. Because they are heavily invested in this. And I can't get over how crazy it was to walk in and go buy like a hot dog at a Tennessee football game. And instead of being able to offer a tip, I was able to offer NIL investment where they have options. This is what I'm talking about. They're doing it better. Now, they're spending a lot more than you are, but they're doing it better. So how are you going to be? You can't be mad at them. You can't say it's all legal. They're doing it all above board. They're just attacking this way harder than anybody else.
I mean, yeah, the only thing you get at Georgia games is you get that one video of Kirby Smart, and it says, like, we need your help to help support athletics at the University of Georgia. Scan the QR code up on the screen. They do it at basketball games. They do it at baseball events, but that's it. Like, once that one
It's like one 30-second promo.
Yep, and it's like right before the game, and that's it. And if you don't scan the QR code, then like that's
no
it, man. You have no idea what it is or anything.
By the way, a lot of these football programs selling some marketing naming rights. You go to Tennessee, you're going to see companies plastered all over the stadium.
I mean, Georgia Tech's doing it now too.
Georgia Tech just named their field, didn't they?
Hyundai Field or something like that.
Hyundai Field. I would imagine that football money is going directly to some type of collective or some type of something. You know what I mean? It's not going to women's track.
Yeah.
You know? That Hyundai money is probably going to pay Nick Singleton's NIL this year because they kept the best freshman wide receiver in the country last year. So, yeah, some of these schools are doing it at a much higher rate. Some of these schools look at it as, I think we're just going to punt until regulation comes. I think we're just going to punt and try to survive and do all the ends meeting that we can possibly get to and just get there until revenue splits come.
Do you think Georgia's one of these teams?
I don't think – I think Georgia did a great thing Friday night, and I think Georgia got a bunch of money Friday night. But I don't think Georgia has cared to do a multi-level mass marketing scheme or mass marketing ploy like Aspire Sports has. So do they care about this? Yeah, they do. I think they're playing ball a lot more now. This year and this cycle, they will play ball more on the NIL front. And this spring, they will play ball on the NIL front more than they ever have because they know what they have. They have a roster right now that is getting combed through. But I think based off what I heard from Friday night, Georgia did what they needed to do to make sure that their roster is intact come August. So
you'd think they'd have better marketing schemes for a school that has one of the top business programs in the country.
I don't, for lack of a better term, I don't think they want to whore their program out.
I could see that.
I mean, pretentious is the wrong word, but there is we're the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is that going on, you know what I mean, in the athletic department. So, and for good reason. I mean, for very good reason. So I wouldn't be out here changing Vince Dooley Field to Delta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
Shit. It would be nice to get whatever. I mean, they don't allow top dollar to be spent at Georgia from some of these corporate sponsors. They just don't. Just think about your everyday fandom experience when you go inside Sanford Stadium. You see a Coca-Cola emblem on your souvenir cup. There's a BMW ad played. Delta might be in the mix. But that's it. You don't see Brita logos everywhere, right? You don't see logos. Anyway.
You see them on the LED stanchions.
Correct. Which is, I mean, that ain't big money.
That's a couple $100K.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know if they ever been to this. I don't know if they have to. I think our version of college football is blown up within the calendar year.
Yeah, I mean, I think in an ideal world, the fact that Kirby Smart's your head coach, you're the Georgia Bulldogs, you're the number one program in the country right now, and you're going to compete for national titles every year is going to be enough to get the right prospects in the door. I think as college football goes on, if we continue with this model, you are going to see more and more star players want money elsewhere, and that's why you're not going to land these 5-star guys as much. But I think just by having Kirby Smart as your coach and the recruiter that he is, you're always going to be able to be in discussions with these top guys and be able to get top rosters in recruiting classes.
All right. So that's what a collective is. It is a monthly super PAC. Okay. A monthly super PAC. Let me ask you this, gentlemen, and I know how the chat feels about this. Don't we feel a little stupid putting the roster's burden on Johnny the football fan? because I feel kind of stupid sitting here going, hey, y'all want better players, head over to Classic City Collective and pay a monthly fee. That feels stupid to me. When all we got to do is say, hey, 15% revenue split goes directly to your roster, endo, done. Spend the rest of the 85% however you want to. But where it's going to have to come out is, you know, some of your athletic department people probably don't need to be making $400,000 a year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like some of these people who have their salaries have just ballooned through the roof over the last 20 years in certain positions at universities. Some of these people don't need to be making that kind of money. All right. So if we have to come up with 15%, you'll find it. I promise you right now, you will find it.